Welcome everybody to the Casually Hardcore Reacts. We're joined by Chillie. We just finished the 3.5-hour live letter for the 5.1 preview. Chillie will include your links, so for your Twitch, your Twitter, in the description below. You guys go check out, give him a follow. You've got a current event, little promotion you're running right now. Tell people about that. We'll get the plug out of the way, and then we want to dive into the 5.1 live letter because there's a lot to cover here.
Yeah, I'll talk really fast so we can get through it. I'm giving away an Amazon plushie for reaching 150 followers, so tweet me hashtag the big 150 and you'll have a chance to win an Amazon plushie. Thank you for everyone.
All right. So, Chris, what do we got?
Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty, patch 5.1. Now, we had all kind of speculated at a couple of dates here in October. It will be 10/29. So for those of you kind of following BlizzCon or looking for lots of coverage from us, that is where we will be starting on 10/30. So we will get out what we can on the 29th. The trailer is now live in all of the languages. We watched it in Japanese. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it in English. Link will be down below. Definitely go give that a watch. Of course, it is visually amazing, but 5.1 is a huge patch. Lots to be excited about, a few things that I'm kind of disappointed about.
Yes.
Starting with main scenario quest, we got a new Beast Tribe Pixies, and all the things that we knew. But first, I think we should talk about the new job changes is kind of the first thing that we really get to.
I think that's going to be one of the hot topics outside of New Game Plus. And we jokingly said that New Game Plus makes us want to like rage, like make an angry video. So we'll probably talk about that here in a little bit with Chillie, get his interpretation. However, job changes. And this is where things are going to get interesting. And obviously we'll have to go hands-on with these because everything they said to me sounded interesting. I'm not a ninja main, but ninja is essentially one of the jobs I'll be leveling up really soon. And so the ninjutsu is going off the global cooldown, and it's now going to be global cooldown abilities that are like at half a second to use. It's also going to be charged. That I think is exciting. Yeah, up to 2 stacks. And he showed it off, and it looked, I was personally like excited because if you have bad ping, which I don't, a lot of the complaints are with ninjutsu that you have this struggle with the high ping. Like the fact that it's global cooldown ability now will hopefully help address it. Chillie, what are your thoughts with the ninja changes?
I'm really as someone who has high ping, even with a VPN, which I use exit lag by the way. I have 140 MS ping, so it's still a pain to do ninjutsu. So with this change, hopefully I can play it. Also remember that one of the big changes now that the damage over time is now not part of the combo system.
Oh, yeah.
It's a separate move.
Thank you very much. I definitely forgot about that because they didn't say specifically spent that. And then he spent some time playing it and showing off the video. He spent a lot of time on Ninja. So I'm very curious to see what Ninja mains think. I wouldn't worry about too much of the changes now. A lot of people, because we're going to talk about Summoner, which we're seeing online both a positive and negative reaction to it. Ultimately, when people were saying that Summoner deserves a machinist revamp, like any kind of revamp like that, you're going to have to set the expectation to an expansion. But let's talk about the Summoner changes real quick, because as a Summoner main who is now a machinist main, like I would actually personally really like it. However, the Eggy Assault changes, they're shifting to spells. So they're no longer this like, kind of pet ability. They felt real floaty when you would use them. There was always this weird lag before the thing would proc because you would tell your pet to do the ability. The pet would then do the ability, and then you would receive the benefit from it. So there was this kind of 3-step turnaround. Now that's going to kind of be a spell. They're adjusting the potencies according with that. So when I hear that, I hear that it's going up because it's going to be a little bit more responsive, but probably a little bit slower, less floaty, less buttons to press as a part of the rotation. And here's the big change for me. What I read and what they said, and this could be a mistranslation, so again, we'll know more on when the patch notes come out next week. But Bane sounds like it's going to actually be able to refresh the dots. And Ruination Ruination's going off of the Tri Disaster. It's just going to do some damage straight up now. But that Bane being that as an option, I always kind of felt like there was this weird downtime. Now you can save a stack. You can use Bane to refresh it. By the time that comes back around, Tri Disaster's back off cooldown. So you should always be able to have this these dots up. There should not be an excuse unless like you decide to really burst down the damage. So it's ultimately your choice as a summoner if you want to burn your stacks or not.
The main issue a lot of summoners have right now is the fact that the summoner ability is a spell, so that means it's affected by spell speed, and a lot of summoners don't focus on spell speed.
Right. And
so
should they though? Right, because spell speed has always kind of had an impact on dots. So could this essentially help bring spell speed up as a part of some kind of meta for the job itself. Like,
which would be great because if Black Mage also uses spell speed, so you'll be able to use more of the same sort of gear with Black Mage and Summoner without having to remeld.
yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. So hopefully we'll start to see something with that. Chris, you're not a summoner main, but like, is anything out of here that stood out to you that seemed exciting?
I mean, from there they kind of just blew through a couple of jobs. So like Red Mage seemed like they were getting a little bit of a touch, and then across the board it felt like mostly potency increases. So I didn't see anything to be alarmed at. I think Monk got hit with a little bit of a nerf to Mantra.
Yeah, just a Mantra.
Yeah. Just a Mantra.
But no, nothing really.
Tank changes though, like you get a 5-second increase to your defensive stances, and this is probably to help kind of offset, the Gunbreaker always having a cooldown like up.
Right. Also, Reprisal is now an AoE, and the duration will be increased.
That increases its value dramatically because Reprisal has only had a value as pretty much the off tank. Now you could always Reprisal something in the pack that's hitting you, but as a tank that's AoE pulling, using Reprisal now, having it apply to the entire pack of the enemies, that's a massive reduction in incoming damage. Massive in terms, especially because that scales with the amount that you're pulling. So I'm really happy to see that change as a tank.
As a tank, though, please remember to always use your arm's length. And also, for anyone who doesn't know, Reprisal is damage dealt by 10% decreased.
Mm-hmm. So now that would apply like that. I mean, that's a math. That could be like you got 8 guys hitting you, 10 guys hitting you. That's 100% reduction if you got like a pack of 10 around you. In total. So they hit on Bard. So Bard changes, if you guys haven't seen.
Yeah.
That songs are now going to buff the party, and you kind of always be singing is kind of coming back. I think that's a good return for their identity as a Bard, as somebody who has that song. Perspective.
They'll be weaker than during Stormblood, but available.
It's technically stronger because it's been non-existent. So it's like, take
it
away, give it back.
Well, they just be compared to Stormblood.
The thing is, though, it's going to be, in some ways, it's going to be stronger than Stormblood because we have higher stats. So the effect might be weaker, but because we have higher stats now anyway, you're probably going to see more of an increase anyway.
The goal is to not set the expectation from Stormblood, and it's like, okay, here you go. I'm happy to really actually see that change. They said a sound is changing with the with the one of the abilities. Yeah, and I was like, okay,
Legends.
Apex Legends, Apex Arrow. Big twist, guys. Big crossover event with Apex Legends. Didn't see that coming. Totally joking on that last Apex Legends joke. Otherwise, we'll get quoted about it in 2 years. These are the guys that said Apex Legends was coming. So, what other job changes are listed? Because I don't have the list up in front of me.
Adjustments for Astrologian, Minor Arcane, Lords and Ladies won't have to be turned into Lord and Lady anymore. Skipping that step since it's clear when cards are changed anyway. Friendly on MP, CU changes mainly for Nocturnal stance.
Okay.
And also Black Mage concedes stacks of triple cast, which is nice.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's like there's no like potency or adjustments to that. That's literally just like here's this nice quality of life thing for Black Mages out there. So that's pretty epic. All right, have we hit all the job adjustments? Is there anything that we missed?
We missed the Samurai.
Oh yeah, okay. Samurai's a real big because that's one of the ones that was named.
It did.
So break it down.
Potencies adjusted to the point that they had to disclaim that don't pay attention to any potencies coming out. Overall, the damage did increase. The rotation changed.
Yeah.
Anything else?
By the way, about Ninja, we also mentioned the trick attack, which is a major deal because trick attack, you've got to time around it.
It does not need to be done in the front, absolutely.
Yeah.
They said Dragoon got buffed and they couldn't tell us much about it, but that we would like it. Vague.
A little weapon pet, please.
I love it. I can't wait to see what the change is, because it's like, you're going to love the change. We're not going to show it to you. But Dragoon's absolutely.
Just
I'm scrolling up
us.
through the
Please
thing.
be excited.
Mm-hmm.
Now, alongside the job adjustments, we do have a level cap increasing coming for Blue Mage that will not be coming at 5.1. That's 5.11.
It'll be 5.1.15.
1.1.5, excuse me. So that'll be your December, your end of the year release will be when Blue Mage goes up, paired with kind of PvP and all that. And we did get to see in the trailer there was a Thornton scene that had a full party of just Blue Mages.
Right.
So
it's going to be tied to the Blue Mage log.
Also,
no unsyncing, no echo.
Yeah.
What'd you say,
There's a lot of new skills, lots of new blue, everything from the easy casual content to hopefully stuff that's very difficult. And then that'll also be when we see lots of PvP changes coming.
Yeah, and so let me see if I can't find it because I've got it up on the screen. So they talked about, so for PvP changes, they're going to substantial adjustments to the actions for PvP and traits. And they said the new frontline rule set, which is coming in 5.15, so think December, that kind of time frame. Yeah. That's going to be the Hadim rule set. And they said that it was so fun, everybody played it, and then they said, no adjustments needed, let's go again. You know, and I was like, that's a pretty substantial stamp of like, okay, we think we got this. And we talked a lot about PvP a little bit on the stream. So I like to kind of talk you guys about it here. This is a new content. This is a new rule set. This is a new way that you divide that. Like, it's going to be good. If you're going to be interested in doing it, you need to do it right away, because ultimately it's going to be something that just kind of like, okay, now you've got all these different options, what to play. They said there are other adjustments coming with like Shatter and how you can kind of see the tomes and things like that. So overall, they're making changes. They're also dropping out the 24-man option for Frontlines, so that's going to go away. That way, kind of ensure that hopefully getting a lot of people to participate in the content and make it somewhat interesting. But ultimately, I think until they can really adjust the feast, until they can really kind of bring in some more stats and things like that, I think PvP is going to continue to be this thing that they play around with every now and then. But who knows? Maybe the actions will change, because people have been complaining that there really isn't any kind of complexity to it. And,
well, there's so little buttons now in PvP.
Yeah.
They shrunk it down so much. And
that happened with the last expansion. So, and it's just, I think, only compounded this one because you had more skills introduced, right? So it's like, okay, this gets upgraded, but man, I really wish that PvP was more a thing. I've been enjoying it as I've been trying to finish off my quest. If you guys still aren't aware and you're watching this before the patch goes out, you have until the 29th to finish your Garo event. So we now have with the end date, like if you want to be participating in it, now's the time to get that gear, to get those mounts, and that helps because a lot more people are doing it, so the queue times haven't been horrid. But hopefully they'll be able to continue to kind of improve these systems to make this content more relevant. All right. That's my thoughts on PvP. Chris?
So next up is the crafting and gathering system changes, starting with our Ishgard restoration here.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of starting to talk about that. For those of you that haven't kind of been following through, we had a previous live letter talk on this. We've had lots of build up to this. Just to make a note, with all the housing additions that we have, just one more reminder. The Ishgardian housing is not available yet. This is not the time for that. This is the beginning of that rebuilding. It'll start in 5.1. There will be more of it in 5.2. It is meant to be engaged in by mainly crafters and gatherers. They've implied that that's of all levels, so I don't know exactly where that'll start. And then we're going to be starting this phase by just building those initial things. They did say that those are going to be done as kind of like fates, and that they are failable. And so each server will be able to kind of progress at different rates based on that. And the reason you would fail is not because they're hard, but because it requires a lot of participation. So we'll see exactly what that looks like. I'm really excited to see what a gathering and crafting fate ends up coming to mean.
The screen, or what they showed, if you guys, we're all speculating that this looks like housing. So I'm showing it right now. Like, this kind of looks like we're got a lot of work, got a lot of cleanup.
It looks exactly like a housing war to me.
Yeah, so that's what, and a lot of people are also commenting on that on Twitter as well. So that's definitely, I think this is, we get this thing built and we can get some Ishgard housing, which I think will be exciting, and that will also open up a whole new land rush for things later. We do obviously know that, we've said this in other videos, but in case you're watching this and you haven't seen those others, with housing, they're going to add new wards with 5.1. That means they're not going to open up the servers early. They're going to open up the servers at the set time that they set, so that as people rush to try to get their into a house in these new wards or transfer houses, etc., gives everybody somewhat a equal footing depending on your queue time and your luck on getting into the game. So good luck to everybody who is seeking a house with 5.1.
What do you guys think of that crafting tree though?
Okay.
Like, so they have the crafting tree now that you can kind of click between, that takes you to different recipes. It'll open up your gathering log for you. Do you guys think that's going to be substantially easier to kind of navigate as we finish talking about kind of crafting?
So I think it pretty much almost hit it at what you were talking about right before they showed it, because you're like, okay, if I could start, and you were talking about it in the context of maybe like auto crafting, and auto crafting, even if it's not auto craft, like just the fact that it's like, okay, here's everything that you need to get started. that in and of itself, I think, was pretty critical and pretty key. Overall, I can't seem to find a screen of just...
Right now I have to keep like a kind of a spreadsheet or something around. It's such a mess to keep track of, like, do I have everything going to it? I think it was at like an hour and 53 minutes in when they were talking about this into the live stream, and it's just such a mess to kind of keep track of all that stuff. So hopefully that starts to integrate more and more with the different like the different market board and things like that as the market board becomes more powerful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if it had some kind of integration with the markets and you could just be like, all right, it's like, cool, here's my shopping list. Let me just be able to purchase it. I've got the video playing of him showing off the crafting tree right now behind us, just so that people can kind of see him interacting with it and what's going on.
And you'll have like this hunt board. It's called a Sky Builders board. That's going to evolve over time, and that's what we're going to kind of be handed these things through. So I look forward to kind of seeing what the term concerted works was used, and then you're going to be getting rewards.
The bar at the top gets filled up the more you do certain rewards, and then you get a quest from doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks like the crafting and gathering of Ishgard and the rebuilding. It's built for people from all level ranges, essentially, or at least from, at least lower level crafters and gatherers can participate in it. So a number of people were like, oh man, I'm not at cap, I can't do this. No, it's not built for cap. Now, if you're at cap, I think better rewards or higher rewards are going to be there for you, but this should also help incentivize more people coming into it. They did say, and we had a big debate on this on the live stream, and you guys can go watch the full thing if you want, which is like 3.5 hours. And if you don't, like, let's summarize it here for you. The decent 100%, like, you can just break these things down. Everything's going to 100%. Basically, some people were saying like this is going to be good for them because they want the D Matera not having that loss. But I think if anything else, this is going to kind of bottom out that market.
Assuming the drop rates don't get adjusted, right. Now everybody with a crafter has access to every form of descent at 100% chance all the time. So when you pair that with the fact that crafting will now seem to be shifted more towards focusing on this Ishgardian restoration, they've talked about adding new, like, higher difficulty recipes in the game. So it just seems like a total shift. I'm really sorry to anybody that made the effort to shift from Stormblood to Shadowbringers, because it wasn't cheap on either time or money to get your descent up to the new cap, because now everybody's going to have access to it. So hold on to any items you get between now and the patch, because you'll be able to kind of break those down.
Break it down.
No reason to turn down Grand Company seals if you don't need them at this point. As we kind of finish up talking about Ishgardian Restoration, just know that there will be a ranking system in future patches. They'll be adding the ability to have gatherer collectibles added, so it will be crafters and gatherers, even though this first round seems like it's mainly crafters. There'll be scratch-off tickets. I don't know what that means. It's going to be like different hairstyles and stuff. They added a lot of new housing items around this also, so like for the more RP side, where there was these little like booths and like, so you could set up like a market. As well as they showed off the player submitted the player drawn competition DPS sets, I guess is what those were, is what the chat was saying.
Yeah, well, they said that they took the inspiration like from it and made it other jobs as well.
Yeah, for the like the different it just visually quite impressive.
Look like Metal Gear.
Yeah, I like the tank set. That tank set is epic right there.
Oh, that's awesome. Can't wait to be RoboCop with a hammer. So on that note, other side content, as we kind of talk through all the things besides like the raid and the ultimate, is we are getting a new gate called The Slice is Right. So that's like testing different boss mechanics that you've seen. And then they moved into the new Beast Tribe. What did you guys think of the new Beast Tribe?
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
It was gorgeous. Let me see. Yeah, we get that footage of him running around.
No usable swings, though. 2 out of 10.
You'll be able to visit it with other people. So they did kind of clear that up. I don't know if that was phrased as later or right from the get-go. While we're at it, they added new emotes that seemed to be themed from there. So there was like them leaning against a cookie. And so some new emotes are always welcome into the game. New hairstyles always welcome to the game. There are at least 2 new mounts being added. one was, Brian, you were super excited about.
We got a marble mount, and it looks amazing. And you kind of referenced it, like kind of had a Matrixy feel when it was flying, because that squid-like. What do you guys think about that slide, though? Like, he actually slid down the slide. We were hoping that he could go on the swings, but this looks like a giant playground. That is.
By the way, I just read the recent translation. It says that you can only enter the thing solo, but they can see feedback coming already. How they people
okay.
Oh,
we're going on an unofficial translation here, guys. So
thanks to Reddit.
Man,
cool. Yeah,
like,
they're literally redoing it. So the other thing is the other mount was the one, Chillie, you were excited about.
The little piggy.
Little flying piggy.
Little flying piggy. They
so
can like
exciting.
suck in stuff. I think it was. Yes, its own emote as well.
So now to kind of loop back on PvP, did we talk about the new frontline battle?
We did talk about how it's based off the Nadim, which is a PvP content. Let's see here if it's gonna let me show the pig flying. So it's like so essentially where it's almost, they said like it's similar to the mode they already have. Like what was the actual quote? Because I'm gonna mispronounce the name. It's not Shatter. Shatter's where I ended up spending the most time, but they said that they have it way more interesting and fun. Let me go ahead and pull it up on stream here, just so we can kind of show it off.
And you'll claim these ovus, and once you claim them, you won't have to defend them, and you'll just move on to the next one. You kind of fill these bars up.
Yeah, and so it fills up, you capture it, and then you move on. So it's not about defense. It's all about the attacking in these zones. And as long as they pop up as fast as possible, they can go. So for everybody's knowledge, just so you can kind of see, we said the 24-player battles are going to be removed. They've said that we're also going to notify people of the appearance of Icebound, Tumulus, and Drone. So that's going to show up a little bit better. The recast time for return has been removed in the front lines, and then the waiting time to return when you get incapacitated in a battle is going to be set at a fixed 5 seconds. So those are some big changes there. Let's see if they got any more that are going to list as they show up. The Nadim, though, like as a fight that it had, it was amazing. Oh, also I forgot, party size when registering for a duty is now limited to 4 players, and we all kind of groaned at this.
Yeah, I think anything that discourages any group of players, even if there's a group of players that you wish was behaving a little differently, there's so few people queuing for PvP now that you don't want to kick any of them out. You don't want anybody this to be the reason they don't play. Right. And so I think anything that can kind of alienate any group that maybe was playing together and they're now going to go try to find some other content that allows them to play as a group of 8, that's worse for PvP, because the single biggest issue that Final Fantasy XIV PvP has is just a lack of participation, that inability to find other people. Those wait times actually kind of become this chicken and egg type thing where I don't queue for it because the wait times are too long, but the wait times are too long because I don't queue for it. Yeah,
it's self-fulfilling prophecy in that regards. They've also been making a lot of battle high adjustments, and for the system. So to break that down, each player is now going to have their own separate gauge. The gauge is going to increase for each KO or assist. Gauges is going to be reduced by half if you get incapacitated, and damage dealt and potency of healing actions increases as the gauge, and it's got 5 stages that you can kind of see here on the screen: blue, green, yellow, orange, and ultimate red in that regards. And they're going to say tactical rating bonus for defeating players affected by battle high has been removed. So there's definitely some battle high changes that are going to be coming as well. I don't know why it's rendering at a very low quality on my screen right now. So a new frontline battle between the 3 players is introduced, and this is the Nadim, and they have rank A, B, and S, and you can see the various colors that are related to it, and then all you have to do is stand there, collect it, and then you go on to the next. The defense mechanism as a change is, I think, pretty smart, because that's going to make it more aggressive and less like, okay, we need to have one person hang back just so they can get murdered and slow down the other team or something like that. So it's going to be a race to collect these things, which it was very similar to that one with the tomes you have to go click on. The click on thing was the most annoying aspect of that.
Steel Rock, right?
Steel Rock, thank you. It was the most annoying aspect of it. This is you just stand there, you fill up the bar, and then you move on. And I'm sure that other people are going to be. I think it's going to be a lot of chaotic.
Oh yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, I'm excited though, and I'm also at the same time have to wait till December for this, because this is 5.15. So that's when this is going to hit.
Now to keep this moving,
Yeah.
the next big topic was New Game Plus.
Oh.
Now, New Game Plus, they showed off actual New Game Plus working. To get out in front of it, I do want to let anybody know that is planning on going all the way back to the story. ARR is not going to be included in this because we know the ARR squish is coming around 5.3, and so they can't give us ARR since they're working on it. So it'll start at Heaven's Word and move forward. There are chapters you can kind of pick through. All of that is delivered as planned. Now, there was a quote used a while back that said there will not be rewards, and people speculated this was to keep you from farming gil or anything like that. There was a question of like, well, how many times would I be able to get experience if there's even experience granted? And it turns out, as of this point, it does not look like there is any reward whatsoever, including experience.
Right.
There's nothing.
We polled chat, and there were some people who were really excited about it, but the vast majority of people are very disappointed in it. And ultimately, the question is that we hope we are in the minority, and so I don't want to sit here and say that we speak for everybody because we don't. And I'm really happy that for those who are happy for this, that they're excited. I was thinking that maybe this would be a way of leveling up alternate jobs, even if it was less efficient, but just as a way of an option. But without that as an option per se, I'm going to sit here and say, like, this is definitely content that I'm not going to participate in. And I've actually been sitting on an alternate job leveling guide to wait to see if this was something that played into it. Looking at it like it's not, I think that this is just wasted development.
First time we complete each quest on each thing. Now, there are difficulties added, so for anybody that wants to go back for content creation or to refresh your memory, you can scale it down to very easy. The difficulties don't go up. So it looked like the difficulties, as of now, at least the ones they showed, was the default difficulty and then 2 steps down.
Yeah.
Were your 3 difficulties. So there was normal, easy,
and very easy. And
I'm expecting there'll be more difficulties added because it looked like there's spaces above the difficulties for more.
Yeah, and they could definitely do that as well, and maybe that's something that's planned for later.
There's like 2 big spaces there for hard and very hard.
Right.
Though who knows if
Yeah, they also did imply that they did say that at some point they'd like to work on more things, so like the ability to go back and replay role quests. For example, I know that especially with how well done they're getting to be, if you haven't gone and done like your crystalline meme quests and stuff, I really enjoyed those. And the fact that I could only do it on kind of one time through on my botanist and not go back as my miner did kind of break that immersion and made the miner feel more like a chore just because I did it second. So I don't know. But from there, we do get our new raid. This will be NieR themed for anybody that has not been paying attention to the news. The zone looks incredible.
Oh, man.
They were given assets. They rebuilt those assets in their engine. And it's astounding how different they can make this game look than the rest of 14. Really true to NieR. Even if you've just watched some Let's Plays on NieR, absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to get in there. They said they don't want to go over too much of what the loot is, but to answer your question,
or the boss,
what you were wanting to get, you will be able to get. Is all they said.
It'd be awesome if we get weapons, and that's essentially whether they're glam weapons, because we've seen in the raid before, like even in back in the Heaven's Word series, that there was the blood sword that you could get from the fourth boss or the mini boss that was kind of between them. And man, it'd be so awesome to see if we were able to get some NieR weapons just as glam weapons as a part of the content itself. Now, if that comes with the copied factory or if that comes as a part of doing something overall with all 3, that has yet to remain to be seen. And then, oh man, like this looks incredible. I've got it playing right now visually on the screen, but they wouldn't show us too much more other than that. This makes me, I'm like, I have to go and finish NieR now. It's like, I'm going to finish Red Mage and then maybe just play NieR for like 2 weeks and see if I can't finally just get it all knocked out and done. Because obviously the patch title, somebody pointed this out in chat, was that the Virtue and Cruelty are the names of 2B and 9S, the 2 main characters within the NieR series, and I didn't know that, and I was like, oh, that's really awesome to kind of see that and how much they are integrating NieR into the at least the patch name itself. Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty, which is
now,
the
Chillie,
29th.
Who's our ultimate fight, Chillie?
Yeah,
Alexander. Woo!
They showed it off. They showed off just the opening cutscene.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll get circulated around. They didn't show any gameplay, obviously. Because that world first race, you need to strap in. That's going to be intense for anybody.
We do know that it starts with Jigglybutt.
Jigglybutt.
So for anybody that is new to 14, I know that the community has grown quite a bit since possibly the last Ultimate or the Ultimate before that. The Ultimate fight is an incredible time for the community, even for the people who don't engage at that level of content. It will shoot us up to at or near the top of Twitch on some of those days.
Let's break Fortnite.
And it's really exciting stuff to watch. Thousands of players watching these people, just the top level players slamming their head into this content. And that'll be a lot of fun to kind of go take part in, even just as a member of the community, even though like I don't personally plan on attempting to fight.
A slight public service announcement by Very Merry. He mentioned that when Ultimate Coil came out, they put Red Mage and Samurai weapons into Coil's 13th floor because Ultimate Coil weapons are based on those. So chances are Gunbreaker and Dancer weapons will probably be added to A12S.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you want to farm at the pages so you can purchase the weapons once the patch comes out, yeah, you can do it now. But this is a guess, by the way.
Yeah, I mean it's a reasonable guess, nothing, and we never know. So I'm excited to see it. So we've covered the job adjustments. We've covered the NieR raid, the crafting changes. They're also I think we skimmed over it, but they're consolidating a lot of the actions. So big adjustments coming to craft, and it's going to happen over 2 patches, so 5.2 as well. The Blue Mage level cap increase with 5.15. That's going to be timed along with the PvP changes. Ultimate, it's going to be 5.11, which will be 2 weeks after the 29th. Yeah. So the 29th, you're going to get the story, the main quest, New Game Plus, and more. I think they said the Ishgard crafting is also 5.11. So that's going to be 2 weeks after as well. So there's going to be stagger. Yeah, there's going to be staggering of the content release.
12, so.
Yeah, and
so we've got a lot to get us through the end of the year. As well as things they've said that they're working on, like they want to make a place for you to spend all your old tomes.
Yeah.
There's some, it looked like some upcoming changes to the Glamour Dresser that they said there was a blog post on, but we couldn't find in English.
Yeah, it's probably going to be later in English then in that case. So is there anything that we missed before we kind of give our final thoughts on this? Because this is a long summary because it's a lot of content.
So as for the job adjustment changes, I'm seeing translations continue to kind of stream out as people start to try to get their heads wrapped around this because it's hard with the language gap. I do want to say that we will get this all officially. There will be a 5.1 patch notes reading scheduled for Tuesday, October 29th. So that's, in 1500 JST. So that patch notes reading is Yoshida reading that, and we will summarize that as well. That's where we'll start to see these potencies really lock in, these job changes really lock in. So up till now, just know that your job probably is changing at least at a minor level, unless you're ninjas, in which case you are all becoming a brand new job. And so we'll go over that. And then one thing I wanted to kind of toss out so I don't forget is that Final Fantasy XIV is nominated in a couple categories in the Golden Joystick Awards. So it'd be nice to see them win for Best Game Expansion and PlayStation Game of the Year. So I would definitely go toss a vote there. There were a couple other categories that I felt were really they could be tight in my mind because there's a lot of good games in there. So if you want to go make your voice heard there, I know it would mean a lot to these
I still wish it was on the still playing category though, because yes, it's not been around as long as World of Warcraft, but I'd still say 7 years is definitely under the are you still playing it if Fortnite is there.
Yeah. And then they shut off some cool merch. Keep an eye on the store. And then they of course have an upcoming 14-hour broadcast that'll have a live letter in it, since we kind of missed that before, and that's really it. So without going into any more detail, I felt like we've been flying here, and yet we are already
at 30 minutes.
At 30 minutes. So
I'll
with
just
that,
one quick thing.
Yeah.
The Glamour Dresser stuff is the display any items that you can equip by characters' current race or gender. Display any items that can be equipped by.
Okay, that's nice. That's a nice little quality of life change. Still no Glamour Dresser in personal housing. I know a lot of people like us also want that as well. You still have to go to the ends for that. There's just a lot here. Chillie, Chris, what's your hot, what's your cold? Because honestly, I'm very cold on New Game Plus. I was lukewarm and hopeful. Now I'm just that just feels like wasted. Not speaking for everybody, just speaking for myself. Hot, I'm very excited about PvP changes, and then the NieR raid. Go ahead.
Overall for me, I'm really excited for 5.1. I'm really excited to get back into some new story and have some new instance content to get into. Can't wait for the NieR raid. Can't wait to start the rebuilding the city of Ishgard. And so overall, like, I'm really excited for the entire cycle from here to the end of the year. There will be enough things for me to be excited about this game probably pretty continuously through early next year, just based on what they've already announced. I will say that doesn't mean that I can't be disappointed about something. So the Descent change and the New Game Plus were both just huge letdowns for me. So I just want to say, like, in the context of it's a wonderful game, but don't be shocked if, like, it bubbles up to the point that I end up making a separate video about just why I feel that these are the wrong move for a game that's doing so much right now.
Chillie.
For me, I like the look of the pixies. I don't normally do beast tribes, but I'm definitely gonna do that for my Iron Pig mount. And for me, the dislikes, of course, I feel like the New Game Plus was a little bit disappointing. I know there was no reward, so I wasn't expecting XP. I'm kind of happy personally about that, because people would go back to do it instead of doing other content, which is nice in some ways, but
That's true. I
would have liked titles though, or like some exclusive mount.
Something for
maybe a mount just ties in for, you beat Heaven's Ward. Here's a special mount.
But they did these really cool things where you can, like, pop into New Game Plus while you're waiting for queues, and, like, as they showed off the features of it, it's a really elegant system for the fact that it's only at normal difficulty and below. And if you want rewards and to relive your story, you're almost better off creating a second character.
Right.
But yeah, so and of course I'm looking forward to Mahjong changes. Mahjong. Yeah.
So one thing we didn't touch on though is that for those who are going to go through the dungeon as MSQ, you can use trust as a part of that. You do not have to have your trust leveled up, but after the fact, then once you have it done, then you can use you have to level up trust to get get up to the level 80 itself. So they're going to give you the ability to MSQ trust it, but then after that, keep grinding those trusts out. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this? Literally, this is funny that this is a summary. The 3.5 to 30 minutes. So I think that's a decent job. Any final thoughts, Chillie?
No, your job is fine, guys. Your job is fine. Like, nobody's job got broken. The only job that I felt got a nerf without a buff, I think, was Monk. And
they've even changed. There's a little bit more translation where they said that the Monk's firepower won't be changing. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody is worse for wear. So just know that it's all going to be fine, and we'll know more soon. There's lots to be excited about. If
obviously this is based off of the Reddit translation, thanks to Reddit for being able to put that together and allowing us to kind of get that information live while we're watching and reacting to the content. But at the same time, that means that as more information comes out, as things get clarified, if any of that has changed, obviously by the time that this video is live, we'll be sure to try to update it with more content, more video.
They've redone a lot of the job stuff. So.
Of course they have. So anyway, for Work to Game, my name's Brian.
My name's Chris.
My name's Chillie.
Make sure you sign off in the comments below what you're thinking, what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to. And let's have that conversation. I hope you all have an amazing day. We'll talk to you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.